What if I told you that the playbook for modern global finance, the system that funds governments, fuels wars, and can bring entire nations to their knees, wasn't written by economists in slick boardrooms, but by a single family that started out in a cramped German ghetto? For centuries, one name has been whispered in the halls of power, a name that's become synonymous with almost unimaginable wealth and influence: Rothschild. The name itself comes from the German Zum Roten Shield, which means at the sign of the red shield, a simple marker on the house where their ancestors lived back in the 16th century. But this isn't just a story about a family getting rich. It's about how they turned money into the ultimate form of power. Today, we're dissecting the Rothschild playbook, step by step. Our story kicks off in the 1740s, in the Judene Gasse of Frankfurt, one of Europe's oldest Jewish ghettos. This was the world of Meyer Amschel Rothschild. Born into a modest home, he was originally set to become a rabbi, but his path took a sharp turn when his parents passed away, forcing him into an apprenticeship at a banking firm. Meyer was a natural. He started out dealing in rare coins, and he was so good at it that he quickly caught the eye of German nobles, most importantly Crown Prince Wilhelm of Hesse. This was the first move in the playbook: get close to power. He didn't just sell them things, he became their indispensable financial guy, eventually earning the title of court agent in 1769. He saw what others didn't: lending money to individuals was small time. The real business was lending to princes and governments. As wars and revolutions tore through Europe, Meyer didn't see chaos, he saw an opportunity. He understood that instability was a market for massive, international loans. His relationship with Wilhelm, whose fortune was built on British subsidies, gave him deep insight into state-level finance. By the early 1800s, he was already issuing his own government loans. But Meyer's most brilliant strategic move wasn't a financial one. It was what he did with his family. He had 5 sons, and he saw them not just as his heirs, but as his greatest assets. Meyer Amschel Rothschild could have just kept his booming business in Frankfurt. But his vision was global. He trained his 5 sons, Amschel, Salomon, Nathan, Kalman, and James, and then sent them out to conquer the financial centers of Europe. This was playbook rule number 2, build a decentralized, international network. Amschel, the eldest, stayed in Frankfurt to anchor the home base. Salomon went to Vienna, the heart of the powerful Habsburg Empire. Kalman set up shop in Naples, a key port city. And James, the youngest and most charismatic, was dispatched to Paris, Europe's cultural and political capital. And then there was Nathan. Arguably the most brilliant of the 5, he was sent to England. He moved to the city of London, the undisputed center of the financial universe. Each son started a new bank, a new pillar for the family empire. But they weren't competitors. Think of them as 5 branches of a single firm, all connected by a revolutionary communication system. Using a private network of couriers and carrier pigeons, they could move information about markets and politics faster than any government on earth. This network gave them a ridiculous advantage. They could shift money across borders seamlessly, get around blockades, and act on information before anyone else even knew what was happening. The 5 brothers became known as the 5 arrows, based on a fable showing that a single arrow is easily broken, but a bundle of 5 is unbreakable. This unity became their creed, captured in the family motto: Concordia, Integritas, Industria, Harmony, Integrity, Industry. The Napoleonic Wars were the ultimate test of the Rothschild system, and its greatest triumph. Theirs was a game of gold, debt, and information. Nathan Rothschild, in London, was at the center of it all. By 1814, the British government was desperate. The Duke of Wellington's army was fighting Napoleon in Spain, but the troops were on the verge of mutiny because they hadn't been paid. Nathan and his brothers used their network to buy up gold and secretly move it across war-torn Europe, supplying Wellington's army and bankrolling the British war effort. Then came the Waterloo Gambit of 1815. Nathan got the news of Napoleon's defeat a full day before the official government messenger. His superior information network gave him a decisive edge. Profiting from the outcome of the war cemented their status as Europe's most powerful financiers. Financing the war had given them staggering capital and political access. Now, they were going to use that power to finance the Industrial Revolution. This was playbook rule number 3, control the arteries of trade and industry. If the 19th century was built on iron and steam, it was Rothschild capital that forged it. The brothers became the go-to financiers for the railway boom that swept across Europe. They knew that railways weren't just about transport, they were the scaffolding of modern economies. Their ambition wasn't just limited to Europe. In 1875, the ruler of Egypt had to sell his country's share in the Suez Canal, the vital waterway connecting Europe to Asia. The British government needed £4 million fast. Lionel de Rothschild raised the sum in a matter of hours. A single private loan secured a strategic global asset for an empire. Let's break down the principles. First, think in generations, not quarters. The Rothschild were building a dynasty. Second, information is the most valuable commodity. Their network was the fastest information highway in the world. Third, be indispensable to the powerful. By financing governments during their most desperate hours, they became creditors to kings. Fourth, control the infrastructure. From railways to canals, they invested in the core industries that powered the economy. And finally, maintain absolute unity. The five brothers acted as one. That family harmony was the engine of their global empire. By the late 19th century, the world was changing. New banking giants were rising, and governments created their own central banks. Today, the Rothschild name is still a major force in global finance and wealth management, but their influence is more private and institutional. While the family may no longer run the world, the playbook they perfected remains a foundational text of high finance. The Rothschild proved that true power isn't always wielded by generals with armies, but by those who control the flow of money. They engineered a system whose principles still shape our world today.